Hi, fourth grade. This is Mrs. Beers again. This is a second video talking about some other writing assignments that are due in Module 11 so that hopefully it will help to avoid any confusion. The first video that I did was all about the narrative writing piece being a superhero for the day. This second video is about there are several graphic organizers and some short writing pieces that were due as assignments. So the first one is in lesson 1 of module 11. So if we go in here, so here is module 11, lesson 1, and I'm going to take you directly to page 7. Okay, so this was where you had to read these two texts. They were poems, and then they asked you to think about the story and poem that you just read and respond to this question: what is the difference between how the authors show the main characters or speakers' feelings about saving money? Use evidence from both texts and refer to the structural elements of each text to support your response. Okay, and they also say that you could use this anchor chart to help you a little bit if you need to. Let's see, go to the next page. Oh, that's that. So let's go to the last page where it actually tells you that this is due. So complete and submit your poems and stories response. The question for this assignment is written as below as a reminder. So what is the difference? Okay, so you're just submitting a response to those two poems that you read and what the difference was between how the authors showed the main characters or speakers' feelings. Okay, so that's what that writing piece is for. And then that one is completely done if you haven't done it already. And then let's go to, I want to go to the last page again. I'm there. I want to go to lesson 3. So I'm going to skip to the last page of lesson 2 and then next to get to lesson 3. And this one, I want you to look at page 6. And this is using different points of view to compare and contrast. Okay. And I want you to pay attention to this as it loads. This is an example of a compare contrast graphic organizer. Okay, so the story was a friend in need, and the other story was the leopard spots, and then similarities that they have: theme, events, characters, and then differences. Okay, so they have a similar theme, they have similar events, they have similar characters, but then they have a few differences. The reason why I'm pointing this example out to you is in lesson 4, you will be looking at something. They're going to ask you to create something like that. So if I go to the last page of lesson 3 and then jump to lesson 4, I will get to page 4. Okay, 2 stories, Pinocchio and the Boy Who Cried Wolf. And then this story, it only takes a little, and this one, Rolling into Venice. These are the two that they're going to ask you to compare and contrast. And you are going to use this organizer, which is a little different than the previous one that you saw. Okay, so you'll want to copy this in a notebook or print this out. Let's go back. And then I think it was due in this assignment or this lesson. Yes. And that's the one they're talking about. So hopefully you have handed this in already. This was due last week, but just in case you haven't, now you know what you need for that one. And then finally, in the next lesson 5, on page 7, here, oh, does this looks familiar, right? This looks like that other one I showed you that was already completed, that was as an example. So they're asking you to draw one by yourself. So you could just look at that to draw that. And then they're going to ask you at the bottom of the organizer that you drew and filled out, answer the following question. Okay. Both stories are about characters experiencing a difficult situation. How do the authors use the events in each story to illustrate the theme that small gestures can have a lasting impact? Use evidence from both texts to support your answer. Okay, so you will, at the end of lesson 5, that would be this week, they want you to submit that. So your hand-drawn one, okay? You're using the text, it only takes a little, and rolling into Venice to compare and contrast how the authors use story elements to illustrate the theme. Okay, and there's the question for you again. So this is the one that you're drawing on your own, which was the one with the 3 rectangles in the middle and all the circles on the outside. Okay, again, if you have any questions, please reach out to your ELA teachers. Thank you.